Hello everyone and welcome back to Coaster Flicks Adventures. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more theme park content, rumours and vlogs. Today I'm going to be diving into one of the most exciting up and coming projects in the theme park world, Universal Studios Great Britain. That's right, Universal is finally coming to the UK. Make sure you watch my video from a few days ago where I announced that the park has officially been confirmed. Now, a more detailed concept art has been released. I've got some predictions on what lands I think could be part of this brand new park. It's in a much greater detail than the one I had the other day, so I have actually sectioned each of the areas of what I think and predict that could be the different lands, and I'm going to go through each of those with you now. First of all, we're going to go to the front of the park and where you can see the hotel. So this will be the 500 room hotel that Universal has announced, and we can't see much theming here, but it looks a really nice grand hotel, potentially with the fact that you can look into the park if you're in certain rooms, maybe get to see something like Grand Helios has at Epic Universe that's opening in May. Next we'll move to the front plaza. You can see where the security area is at the front with the lights shining into the air, and then the iconic Universal globe. I just can't believe that we're going to be getting a Universal globe in the UK, and hopefully, that's an amazing opportunity for photos. That whole plaza area will be brilliant. Behind that, it will be the entrances. Very much looks like the one in Orlando. Imagine when there's different events on like Halloween Horror Nights, Christmas, Mardi Gras, possibly all the different things that they do in the US, even different new things because of it being something unique to the UK. See some advertisements in that area, and that will just constantly be evolving and changing. As we head into the park, it's like a kind of boulevard. The initial thoughts when I saw this was very much like Hollywood. When you first go in, there's like a water fountain there, and there's it's about, I think it's like a statue of the movie making. And you'll also have things like toilets and various different shops and places to go there. I really like the look of this. And what is very interesting is the show building. Now, this show building here looks very much like a kind of movie theatre. So I thought, right, what's cool, what's movies? But also, if I think about Orlando, they have quite near the front in this similar sort of area, the Born Stuntacular. So my prediction here is that this will be a 007 stunt show. Imagine, like things where there's a whole set up, James Bond's running through on a mission, jumping in a car. The way they can do it, I've seen the Back to the Future stage show, and they did an amazing thing with a car there. So this, for me, is my prediction for this area, 007, as we come into the park. A lot of people think it could be towards the rear of the park, but I'll come to in a minute why I think that isn't the case. And I could be completely wrong. Obviously, all of this is purely speculation and my kind of wants as well. We'll head on to the next part now. As you can see, where we're going to go clockwise around here. So it opens out very much like Islands of Adventure. There's a massive lagoon in the middle. You'll see at the very top there's a couple of buildings. This kind of reminds me of Amity Cove from Jaws, but there's no kind of ride there, so I don't know if it's just theming. But kind of also feels a little bit Epic Universe where Celestial Park will be. But really nice to see that you kind of go down that main kind of streetway, opens up into this area, and you'll be able to see the whole of the park where you are. So our next area as we head round is this small one I've done in blue, and let's have a quick look into that one. Now here I'm pretty certain this one is going to be Paddington. I've seen a few other people online say a few other things, but I'll explain why my thoughts are on this now. So at the front there looks like what initially I thought was like a balloon ride, but actually I think it's umbrellas. So Paddington always carries an umbrella and he uses it to float. So I definitely think this is a Paddington umbrella. Next up, this very much looks like a play area to me. Maybe it's themed to Peru, which is obviously where Paddington is originally from. Whole area, Universal use these areas. I know that in the DreamWorks land in Orlando, that has an area that's kind of a kids play area. I very much think that's what this will be here as well. Now this down the bottom I've looked over a few times and thought, what could this be? It looks kind of like maybe a sort of kind of teacup ride or something, but actually I think it could actually be just a seating area, a picnic area, possibly, when you want your marmalade sandwiches, or some sort of stage show it could be as well. So it could be a seating area, so you watch an event, maybe some sort of meet and greets with Paddington. Possibly that's the case. Now, this is quite a substantial show building. I definitely think this will be some sort of dark ride. If anyone's been to Blackpool and done Wallace and Gromit, but obviously this is Universal, this is going to be in a whole nother level. If it follows maybe the first movie where you start with Paddington, you meet him at the station, he goes to the house, or through the whole of his story, I definitely feel like this will be what that should be. There also looks to be water, so possibly it could be a boat ride going round and talking about Paddington's story as well. So there we go, that one is Paddington. So now as we carry on round, in the orange we have the big coaster. Now this one I've really thought quite hard about what I think this would be. Initially my thoughts were Fast and Furious. It kind of initially was a given that it was going to be Fast and Furious because they've just done Hollywood Drift. There's massive tie-ins in all the Universal parks for Fast and Furious, but then I thought, well, actually this is cool because it's got a spike as well. I initially thought it was a top hat from the original concept art I saw, but the fact that this looks like a spike, it's actually two by the look of it as well, because it will have forward and backwards mechanisms, and it's pretty much guaranteed to be an Intamin. Universal have worked with Intamin a lot on various different projects like the Velocicoaster, Hagrid's, to name just a couple. And this kind of building, I think that part of this ride will be inside that building. Maybe it's a pre-show before we launch. And a lot of people online have said it looks very much like Hill Valley. Can't see clock towers and things like that, but I could see where they're going there. So actually I have changed my mind, and I think, like a lot of others, I think this will be potentially Back to the Future. Well, how amazing would it be that if we launch at 88 miles an hour out of that building after Doc has been giving us a pre-show and straight up into that spike to then reverse to go backwards. It would be insane. So I am really looking forward to seeing more of this coaster and riding it in 2031. So finally in this area, if you kind of come out of the Back to the Future area, there's what looks like a theatre. So my guess is some sort of show will go on there. Maybe it'll be part of a nighttime spectacular. But soon will be revealed. Hopefully, I'm sure we'll get some more concept art with more detail in the future. So there we go. Back to the Future has been added to this one. So next up we have the very, very large area. Now, I've seen this been split up by quite a few people into two different areas. I think the building is pretty obvious what that is, but it's the coaster. Now, a lot of people have speculated this could be Wicked because of the green, and absolutely I agree it could be. But I'm actually going to create this as a whole area, and it's going to be Jurassic World. And here's my reason why I think the whole area is Jurassic World. You'll see around there's quite a lot of palm trees, and that theme continues pretty much throughout the whole of the theming of this area. It does slightly change towards the back where the coaster is, but I definitely feel like from a greenery point of view, this whole area does all feel like Ola Nubar, and yeah, so that's my thoughts. I think we're going to have Camp Jurassic in there. There's potentially a restaurant. There's those kind of what looks like huts at the front. That could be a quick service area, or maybe like a meet and greet with Blue or other dinosaurs. But then in this area there are 3 rides. So first up we have 2 shot towers. So they just scream Doctor Doom's Fearfall to me. So I actually really love Doctor Doom's Fearfall. So if that comes, something like that, absolutely welcomed. Now next to that is, I think, potentially another kids area. It looks like kind of walkways and bridges and various different things. So it could be like a high ropes kind of course, maybe like a Camp Jurassic area. And then next we have the Jurassic World building. It pretty much looks like the one in Beijing. That ride is, well, it just looks absolutely insane. I think a lot of people that have ridden it said it's one of the best rides in the world. I am really excited to see if this is actually what it will be. The building itself pretty much looks like that's what it will be, and if we get something like that, brilliant for those rainy days to be able to go in and have a few lap rides on that one. And then finally in this area is the green coaster. Now, again, this could be wicked. Imagine it as like a kind of booster bike or something like Tron, where you're riding on the back of a broomstick. It would be amazing, but I still do think it will be dinosaur related because of the trees and the theming and the whole of that area. It just feels very green in that area and the kind of same kind of greenery. So definitely feel like, to me, that that's still a dinosaur related coaster. The flying dinosaur in Japan looks absolutely insane. So imagine if we got something like that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that one. So let's move on to our next area. And that's this at the back. Now, this is pretty much straight away to me screamed Waterworld. There's a lot. It could be James Bond. It could be some sort of other stunt kind of show. But there's water there. There's fireworks. There's fire effects. I've seen Waterworld in Hollywood. The building pretty much looks like it, with that kind of beat up rustic kind of look. But also, what's interesting is down the bottom you can see there's an entrance that's what looks like fabric. Now that is very much like the entrance to Waterworld in Hollywood. I haven't seen the other ones around the world, but it definitely feels to me like that one is a Waterworld one. So let's move on to our next area. Now this one has really got me stumped. I've seen a lot of people, I think someone on X said, and various other social medias said that it was Shrek's house. And I agree, it looks just like it. However, I feel like there's 2 pretty big show buildings there. And I don't think they would do that so much maybe for Shrek. It also looks, I think I said in my previous video about it looking like a castle, still feel like that as well. And this area feels like it has the least theming, which means that it's potentially not even been shown yet what this will be. And I think this one is Lord of the Rings. I think you can see from the pathway where it changes as well. So I think that potentially would go into a ride. There's no sort of facade there at all. It's just a box. And I think they're really holding back on announcing that because I think it's something that fans really want to see. So there you have it. And then we have this area here, which straight away we know what this is. This is Illumination Avenue, also known as Minions Land. There is the roller coaster on there, and initially when I saw the original concept art, I thought, oh, there's 3 coasters. This probably isn't a coaster. It's probably like I can't remember, I think it could be Beijing, has this exact building. It's kind of like some indoor stuff. There's food places and various different things as well. Also, towards the back of the area where all of the pink buildings are, there very much looks like Minions Land in Orlando, where there's all the cupcakes and the food restaurant and various different things. You've also got, with the orange building, it looks like the entrance possibly to Minions Mayhem. And there's quite a big show building there, so that's a potential as well. And then it follows around, and this is why I've called it Illumination Avenue, because there's a fantastic ride in Hollywood called Secret Life of Pets Off the Leash. There's a POV actually on the channel if you want to watch it. It's an absolutely amazing dark ride. Brilliant use of screens and practical sets as well. It's an absolute must when I go to Universal in Hollywood to do that one. So there we have it. There is our theme park in full. This is my predictions. It's probably going to change possibly in the future when we see new concept art. But it's been really exciting and great for me to look through this. I've spent a few hours going really into depth and looking at other people's predictions, looking at stuff online. But actually, these are my predictions of what I think. And there's one other thing I wanted to show you. So there's actually two spaces here that I think could be for future expansion. Right by the one, there is a bridge which goes over the water. Again, that leads me to think it's Jurassic World related. They always do that kind of style when it goes into Jurassic World. But that bridge could be extended into a further expansion to the left, and then where the Minions Illumination Land will be, and behind the entrance is another potential expansion as well. Could this be when we see Harry Potter? Maybe, they'll add it at a later date. Maybe it's something that they haven't fully decided on yet. Putting anything in these two areas, and we might get it added at a later date. That'd be really interesting to see. So here we are. This is my predictions again, and I'd really love to hear what you think in the comments. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel to get even more updates on Universal and other theme parks around the world. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.